That was it, and Jimmy McGovern. Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, we are live.
We just have to do that.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're here. Sorry we're a little bit, well, we're only 3 minutes late. Welcome to another Brookside reunion. We do have, oh, my screen's going all slow there. Oh, that's better. We do have Robert Smith trying to come through, who played Gizmo, but his sound's out at the moment, so he may have to rearrange that in the future. So, but for the moment, we've got, in the corner, we've got Tracey Batchelor, who played Michelle Jackson.
Jones eventually.
Yeah. Alexandra Pigg, who played Petra Taylor, and who died at number 10 because number 10 Brookside Close was cursed. Do you know that was also the house where the body was buried under the patio as well?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it all started with Petra. They decided that that house was cursed.
That was it.
Everybody that moved into that house had lots and lots of drama, didn't they?
Did.
The Corkills, and then the Jordashes, and then Ginny Corkill moved in, and he had all the grief as well. So there you go. How are you guys anyway?
Fine, really well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Alexandra, as well.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's great.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about Robert. I think he's doesn't look like he's going to be coming back. So, Robert, don't panic. We will get you back on at some point. We'll have to do the Gizmo show. So, onwards and upwards. Right. So, we're going to take you. It's a nice little memory lane. This right back to. Well, I was going to call you Petra then. Yeah, first blooper of the night. Alexandra,
for me.
Yeah, you were practically one of the original cast members because you were there, I think, episode 5 or 6.
I think it was earlier than that, actually, because I was cast at the same time. Me and Danny Webb, who played Gavin, we were cast at the same time as everybody else. And I can remember we had to wait, because I can remember like the very, very first episode going live, and we all kind of gathered at Brookside to watch it and feeling a bit left out, you know. But but yeah, we were. I think it was like episode 4. We were in it. We didn't have to wait that long. It was pretty quick. Yeah. So yeah, that was a weird night thinking about it now, actually. You know, going to Brookside and watching like Channel 4, you know, was new, watching the whole Brookside, like the birth of it. That was quite, we all just kind of, I remember sitting on the floor, we were all in the green room, just sitting on a little telly.
And it wasn't very big, was it, the green room? Let's be honest.
No. Oh, wasn't it? And, Tracey, what about you? You joined in early 1983, I think it was.
Yeah.
And can you remember your audition? How that role came about?
Well, yes.
Yes.
I can remember Phil Redman was there.
Oh, that must have been nervous.
Yeah. And we'd sort of started the audition, and he came in, and I was in there with another girl, and the pair of us sort of went,
no.
And he said, can I set you a quick sort of improvisation? Okay. So he said, I want you, he looked at me and he said, I want you to confess to your best friend here that you're sleeping with her boyfriend. Oh, okay. So that was the sort of the audition, and at the end he looked at me and he went, "Well, you're a bitch."
Which was a compliment, of course.
Well, I think I took it as one. But the thing was, Michelle, in the beginning, she was so meek and so mild. I couldn't really see. It didn't seem to bear any relationship to the audition that I'd done.
Yeah, because she was meek and mild at first. I don't think she was ever horrible, but she became, well, we'll talk about this later, but because I know that you became the Scarlet Woman. We'll get back to that afterwards.
I did.
Alexandra, can I just ask, do you remember your audition, and did you have to do something similar to Tracey?
There was lots of auditions.
Oh, were there really?
Yeah, no, I do remember, we were just backwards and forwards. There was lots of auditions, and I auditioned, so I think they had decided that they were going to cast me, but they didn't tell me because I was then auditioning with all, you know, loads of different actors. I I remember one when there was an actor with, and it was the improvisation thing, like Tracey was talking about. And I do remember one actor, never being allowed now, but literally sticking his tongue down my throat.
Oh, can you tell us who it
went
was?
straight in for the full.
It wasn't Paul Usher by any chance, was it?
No, it wasn't Paul Usher. I can't remember the actor's name, but it did. I remember sitting there going, "Oh my god!" But I tell you, I did audition with him. We really bonded with. Was it not Paul McGann? Joe McGann, his older brother,
yes.
And he was great, and we had like a really nice rapport. And I mean, it was down to Equity. Equity wouldn't let him do it because there was some glitch. You know, the Equity. In those days, they did a little bit more. And so he was originally cast as Gavin. So it was and I was really sad, you know, that we didn't get to work together, because we had nice chemistry there. But then Danny came along, and he was this guy from, well, actually, I think, was he from South Africa? No, Australia, I think it was somewhere. But, you know, he was RADA trained, so he was like a proper actor and everything. It was like, oh my God, doing an accent. Because that's not his accent. And he's acting. And yeah, but actually I liked Danny. He was lots of fun. But it was a long process to get to that couple, you know, to find Danny. It was, or Gavin, I should say. It was quite a long process. I mean, there was about a dozen auditions. But I do remember the entire first cast being gathered again in the green room, and Phil Redmond coming in and saying, you know, I just want you to know you've all been cast. And all of us, you know, Paul Usher, everybody, all just sitting there quiet. And he was like, because he was, I think, expecting us all to go, ah. We were all so shell-shocked or stunned that there was just this sort of awkward silence.
Wow.
And he was like, oh, okay, great. So yeah, but it was a big moment, you know, thinking back on it now.
Well, yes, because in the early days there were a lot of complaints, I think, from the first episode, because I think they had the word. Yes, Barry Grant came out with a classic one-liner on the first episode. It was referring to some graffiti on Annabel and Paul's wall, and Barry looked up and said, "No, it can't be our guy know that. He only spelled bollocks with one L." Yeah. And there was Robert Smith, Gizmo, who said "piss off" or something like that on the first. And they were bombarded with complaints. Did that happen when you two were there?
Oh yeah.
Oh really? Yeah, because it was.
And actually, I do remember being at a read through, and Phil Redmond coming in, and because he was always at the read through, and he sat down. He said, "Right, we've had to defuck the scripts." Because, you know, but you think about how, you know, now, I mean, you know, bollocks, that's sort of so lame to, I mean, I'm shocked sometimes at things that come on.
Yeah, I know.
You know, oh, the C word, they've just said the C word on telly. But it was quite ahead of its time. But there was a point at which the complaints and everything had got so big that actually, we had to defuck the scripts. And that's where that quickly.
Yeah, I don't think there was so much by the time. I don't remember very much.
Yeah, I think it had all been toned down by year two. By year two, 1983, I think. Yeah, I noticed that all the B words had gone. And,
yeah, it all sort of.
Tracey, I'm going to ask you, because it was because Michelle had a long. Can you hear this echo?
Yeah,
that's great. It sounds like you kind of sound like you're in the.
Yeah, sorry about that. Don't know what's going on there, but. Okay. Tracey, you were with Terry Sullivan for 2 years with Brian Regan. Now, she did have an affair behind his back at one time, which prompted somebody in the middle of the street to call you the Scarlet Woman. Is that right?
Yes, I was.
You were called a tart?
In the middle of Safeways, I think it was.
Oh, you're joking.
But she grinned at me afterwards. But she wasn't being horrendous. She was, you know, she just gave me a bit of a grin, and you know.
Well, Stephen Parry was on once, and he cheated on his partner in it. And some old lady in a supermarket went over to him and started hitting him with her handbag.
They don't like it.
Yeah,
they don't like it.
They just take it very. Some people
very seriously.
The circus real life, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And you've upset somebody they like. I mean, and Brian Terry at the time, I mean, that scene where he was sitting on the curb in the rain.
Oh,
crying,
of course, and then Sheila comes and gets him in.
And of course, people felt so sorry for him. So
did,
sorry
yeah,
for him.
I didn't think she was a bitch. Maybe vulnerable, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't think of Michelle as a bitch.
I think she did. I think she felt very sorry for him, the way it had come out.
Yeah.
But she was young. There was this glamorous man suddenly appeared, even if his real name was Arthur Duff or whatever. Albert Duff.
Yeah, and his pink tops. I thought, what does Michelle see in that? Very camp.
Oh, he was. But I think she was ready for a change by then. 2 years,
Yeah.
have to move on a bit.
Well, she tried to, and then of course there was that scene where you tried to sort of seduce Terry by getting back with him with the dressing gown.
Yeah.
He ended up throwing you off the mattress. How long did that take to film? Because that was quite a big scene.
Well, when I look back at it now, particularly, I mean, it was quite. I mean, he sort of threw me onto the bed and then the mattress onto the floor and that sort of thing. And I think, I don't know, nowadays that would sort of be quite, in those days it was like, well, she deserves it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's off with other blokes and all the rest of it, she deserves it. But I think the funniest thing was that scene was done. And then the scene where everything was being thrown out of the window and all that sort of thing, I wasn't on set when all that happened. So it wasn't until I watched it that I went,
oh, it's a great scene as well, that.
I'm going to do that.
Annabel came out brandishing a knife. Oh, does anybody want any help?
It's quite, you sort of, I think when you start, I don't know about you, Alex, when I started, I read every script from front to back. Every word, I knew what everybody was doing, all the characters, everything. And after a while, the schedule gets, harder, and you sort of a bit more blasé about it, and you just look for your bit. And if it doesn't mention your name, you don't read that scene. So it's quite refreshing when it comes on.
Yeah.
To actually see what everybody else is up to and what they're saying about you, or not.
Well, I suppose with all your stories, you've got to focus on your own because you've got that many seeds to do, haven't you?
Yeah, and of course it's not in order either with telly.
No.
You can go absolutely anywhere. If you sit filming in the bedroom, let's do all the scenes in the bedroom, but that could be 3 or 4 days. So sometimes it's quite hard to, you just got to concentrate on what you're doing.
Yeah.
As opposed to what anybody else is thinking at the time. But it makes it interesting when you watch it.
Oh, it was very interesting. I did like Michelle and Terry, actually. So I was sad to see them split up.
I know. And he was such a lovely chap, Brian.
He was.
Yeah, it's fab. But they all were.
Hearing myself repeating myself. Alexandra, I've got a few questions from you from a few Brookside viewers. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
They are interesting questions. The first one is from Alan Rice. He says to say hi to all 3 of you, except there's only 2 of you here, so it was to all 3 of you. He says, thank you for your contributions to the early years of Brookside, which were the best. He said his question for Alexandra is, were you aware that Danny Webb was staying in the show short term, or did his intention to leave early? It was a surprise. Quite interesting.
I missed a little bit of that because of our echo, but Danny Webb was staying.
Yeah, did you know that Danny Webb was going to leave after 3 months, or was that a surprise?
Oh no, it was a surprise. Yeah, no, it's funny because I was watching that clip that you sent to me the other day where I discussed Danny or Gavin in bed, and it actually reminded me how that just kind of changed the whole thing, because our trajectory as a couple was that we would find a baby, we found a baby, and it was a long drawn out storyline, and that completely put the kibosh in everything. Really. It changed things massively. Yeah. I do remember Annie Keaveney saying that he was really sorry that he would leave because it was a work that did have an impact on my character. and you know, it was his choice, but yeah, I had no the way it was talked about when we were told the cast and the green room that day, it was a long term thing. So yeah, we do have that.
Okay, and of course you left. Did you leave to do Letter to Brezhnev?
I did, yeah. Well, I did leave. I mean, the character was eventually written out. They didn't really know what to do with it because, as I say, this character had a long storyline that just was no longer available. And I think they tried various things, Barry Grant, but ultimately, at the end of the day, that didn't pan out. Yeah, it was kind of written out. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what this echo is. I'm trying to sort it out, but I don't know what this echo is. Can you hear this constant echo?
Yeah. There's something weird happening, isn't there?
Something very strange. Now it's going okay again. You're fine, Tracey. So I don't know what's going on.
No idea why.
But it's sorted.
Well, of course, because I know that we're short for time, because we've got to go at 7:30. So I couldn't not mention the late Anna Keaveney.
Yeah.
So I'll start with you, Tracey.
She was fantastic. In fact, we ended up sharing a flat together in Liverpool. Yeah, we did. And she was wonderful because she was a bit like an older sister, advice-wise, you know? Anything sort of agent-wise, or what do I do about this, or how do I cope with that? And also sort of personally as well. I mean, she really was lovely. And we kept in touch after we'd finished. I visited her in London a couple of times, you know, and it was just devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating when she died. It was just, and she never actually told me how ill she was. I had no idea. And you know, it was, but she was really lovely and a phenomenal actress.
Oh, she really was. She's one of my favourite characters of Brookside. The whole history.
She was great. She was really, really great. Quite scary. I remember when I first met her. You know, you believed, and because you believed her. You know, she kind of, and then actually, you know, at the end of the day, you get this softer side of her, and that was her. But on set, I mean, I was quite scared of her. Well, not scared, but I was quite intimidated by her. I mean, she was a force to be reckoned with, just, you know, in her talent and her presence. And I mean, I read about her dying in the newspapers. I mean, it was a lot, and I was like, oh my God, you know,
horrible shock it must have been.
Yeah, it was just a real kind of like, wow.
Such a shame.
And do you keep in touch with any of the cast? Because I know lots of people have, it's one of those things when you're at school, you say, oh, I'm going to keep in touch with you. And you mean it at the time. And then obviously, but I imagine you've all come together again on social media.
Silence.
Not really.
No. I mean, I think I left the country for like 15 years and lived in America, and I think I lost, and then, you know, family and all of that. So and social media, I mean, I am part of, there's a Brookside fan club or something on Facebook that I'm part of, and I only joined that about maybe a year ago, and I do enjoy when I'm kind of just sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? You know, just going through all the pictures and stuff. It is really it's great, and it is great to look back on and to think back on it, because it seems like such a distant part of my life. It's lovely looking back at it and seeing the clips that you sent.
Yes,
it's really strange looking at yourself that long ago. You know, and you know the thing that's really strange, the first thing I spotted was like, me and Barry Grant had exactly the same hairdo.
You did? I used to love Barry.
I was fixated on that. The first thing that I watched, and I was like, we've got the same hairdo. Why have we got the same hairdo? So I had to watch it again. And I was like, we don't have the same hairdo. But you know, it's interesting, like looking back on that, because I think, you know, as you get older, you are, I think, better able to embrace and acknowledge what you were previously, you know, what you were like when you were younger. Whereas I think when you're a little bit close to it, it's all about moving forward and progressing and, you know, being more fabulous and that. So it's, yeah, so I enjoy the reminiscing now and looking back now. I really like it. It's kind of fun.
Oh, good. Well, especially as the 40th anniversary is coming up next year. So, yes, I am hoping to do a big, I did try and do one recently. Went a bit Pete Tong, didn't it, Tracey? But I think a lot of people said yes to me because it was lockdown when they agreed to it, and it was a bit difficult by the time. So, but I think people will be inclined to do it next year because it's the 40th anniversary. So, Alexandra, I do hope you'll come and join in the 40th anniversary reunion next year.
Absolutely, I totally would.
Yeah, and
I mean, I'm ready for it now. I haven't been previously, but no, I'm totally ready for that now, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, have either of you seen Paul Usher, for instance, since you left?
I'd love to see Paul. No, I mean, I did sort of not that long, you know, kind of couple, you know, sort of around the time. But not for a long time, no. But I'd love to see Paul, yeah.
I'd love to get Paul on, but Tracey, you know, how many times have I told people? Because he is a very private person, isn't he? He's not into this kind of thing. He's not into social media. He's not into reality TV at all. So, of course, I'd love to get him on. He's one of my favourite characters. So, go on, sorry, Tracey.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think it's quite daunting because when you very first asked me, I said, oh, no, I don't know if I could.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought, I don't want to pressure you. And I thought, no, you'll be great. So
then you do it, or you bite the bullet and you say, yes, all right, I'll do it. You know.
Yeah, I'm not that scary, am I? People just laugh at me.
I said yes right away, didn't I, Ian?
You did. And I was like, Tracey, we've got her on.
And suddenly you're just chatting and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Honestly, and the memories just flow. And honestly, I've been on one of these Zoom interviews for like an hour and a half with a few people. And honestly, it goes like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a few other people I want to mention that are sadly no longer with us. But do you remember much about, I don't know if you would have done many scenes with them, but Jim Wiggans and Doreen Sloane.
Yeah. Jim Wiggans, I had my first swig of whiskey with him.
Oh, well,
so the thing with Brookside, I mean, Phil, you'll remember this, you weren't allowed to smoke, which, you know, he was well ahead of his time, actually, you know, with the swearing, the no smoking on set, anywhere on site. The green room, actually, you could smoke in the green room, but nowhere else on site. And it was an absolute dry site. Jim Wiggans had a bottle of scotch in his briefcase. And he was drinking around. I was like, oh my God, what's that? But anyway, here, have a go. Just drink it. Just drink it.
So calm your nerves.
I calm your nerves. This was the end of the day.
Yes.
The first time I ever drank whiskey was with him on set where you're not allowed.
So, you know, you wouldn't have expected that of his character and stuff. You wouldn't.
No.
But I did hear that. Because Tracey, I'm sure you've got memories as well, but I was told by Mark Burgess, who played the second Gordon Collins, he said that Jim and Doreen were actually completely opposites of their characters. In other words, Jim Wiggans was a lefty, and Doreen Sloane was more right-wing, which was the opposite way around with their characters. I mean, do you remember that, Tracey?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Again, I was quite young and not really sort of into politics or anything like that.
No, you don't when you're young, do you?
You don't, but things happen. And, you know, of course, as Alex said earlier, equity was very strong and that's unionised. And, you know, the views that people used to come in with their newspapers and we'd sit in the green room. Cliff Powell's and I used to sit in the corner and do the crossword together. But people used to come in and go, oh, have you seen what's in the Guardian this morning? And I used to think, gosh, so that's what I should be thinking, all right. And then, you know, somebody else would come in with the polar opposite view.
Yeah, and you'd feel confused.
You know, and Cliff just used to sit there, and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be thinking now. What do I do? What do I do?
You don't want to offend anybody.
And of course, Anna as well, she was quite, you know, forthright in her opinions. And when the miners' strike happened, you can imagine with Ricky Tomlinson on set.
Oh, yes.
and the powers that be sort of do not get involved in all of this. But we did. We all went off and did fundraising for the miners and that sort of thing. But I had to be a bit careful about what photos we appeared in and that sort of thing. So, and I'm just following around going, oh, okay, I mean, talk about get yourself hung and not any idea what's really going on. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people were, though. They've been, because they're actors, they're one thing on the screen, they look a certain way. People think, oh, well, you must be a Tory, or you must be Labour, or you working class, or whatever. And you're cast into those roles, but it's not necessarily who you are. No. But if you're convincing enough, then people believe that, don't they? Yeah,
that's brilliant. And I mean, Alexandra, did you have any scenes with the likes of Ricky Tomlinson? Don't think you did you? I know you did, Tracey.
Yeah, I think I must have done. I can't. There's nothing. I mean, what I can remember about Ricky Tomlinson, because I got a hold of, because I bought a camera. I was really into photography, and I got lots of photographs that I'd taken on set, behind the scenes stuff. Which, with hindsight, I should probably upload them on that Facebook page.
Oh yes, please do.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll have to dig them. I've got some of you, Tracey. Actually, there's one of you and me in the dressing room. But there's one that I remember is you and me in a dressing room together, because I think we were sharing a dressing room. And I've got lots of photographs of Ricky around, so and Paul, and sort of.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a few snapshots. I must dig them out. But that's sort of when you talk about Ricky Tomlinson, and remember him in the green room talking about what he was up to in his club, and he had an agency. I can't recall any scenes with him though. I can't recall us having anything. We may have had little bits, but I can't remember anything kind of any meaty scenes with him at all. Or with obviously Tracey and Barry Grant and all of that.
Because, and obviously Anna as well. But I imagine, did you two would have had rehearsals at that time, didn't you? Was that right? At the Everyman?
At the Everyman? No.
Was it at the Everyman?
No.
There were some photos of you at the Everyman, I think.
We did, yeah. Were you not in that, Alex? They did it like a show, a show at the Everyman.
No. I think I was long gone by then. No, we when I was there, we were rehearsing on set in situ. It was great, actually, but yeah.
Okay, sorry. Oh God, it feels like we've been on for 5 minutes. It's half an hour already. But can I just ask you one last question? Were you happy with the way you were written out, or how you left your character's conclusion?
Yeah, I think it was good. I was at that time, I was quite unreliable in terms of, I was barely 20 when I'd been cast in, I was 19 when I was cast, so I just turned 20, and had quite a chaotic lifestyle. So, the fact that I kind of managed to hold it together, I think, for a year was, but I think part of it was I was just too chaotic as a person. So I think there was a sort of, had I perhaps been a little bit more together and organised, they may have kept me in. But no, I think that it was great. I do remember, just quickly, I was living in Birmingham for whatever reason, and there was a thing in a local newspaper saying that Petra Taylor has gone missing, but she's been spotted in Birmingham. And if anybody sees her, so it was like
people believing it's real.
Thing, like, no, that's not a real. That's not real.
It's me.
Because that was the thing that was frustrating about it. The only thing that was frustrating about it is that I went missing for a long time.
Yes, it was.
While they figured out what, and so. But I was still a person, going about my daily business, and I do remember that being, sort of a bit weird, having weird encounters. So that's the only thing. They could have cut that down a little bit, but yeah, I think it was good, and I think how they carried on with the family, with Tracey, and it was like actually really good. It was really good. So yeah, no regrets there.
Right. Okay, and Tracey, because of course we do remember that before you left, there was that whole Free George campaign, wasn't there?
There was, yeah.
Did they release a record?
Yes.
They did. Did that chart?
I'm sure there was, but I don't think. Got that
Didn't get in the chart.
I mean, originally they had his photo, but he had a similar thing. Was that he'd left by then, was out of contract.
Right.
Because his photo kept appearing, people assumed he would be freed and go back. So they weren't considering him long term for anything. So they changed it to this photo with his head down. So that people would start to forget what he looked like, because he said it was costing him work using his face.
Oh yeah.
Really?
So yeah.
Were you happy with how your character departed?
Yes. I could see why she had to go, and I could understand their point of view as well, because they said, you know, it's a house with one. Anna had already said she wanted to go, which meant
I see. So Anna had left, and so the whole family had
and
to
it
go.
would have left one
Yeah.
woman in the house on her own, where there's more value in a family.
Yeah.
Or a husband, wife, or like the flat share with the nurses, that sort of thing.
Yes.
There's a lot more value in having more people. It's very tricky having one woman or one man in a house on their own, no one to talk to, you know.
Yeah.
So that was difficult, but it was a little bit tricky because I was still under contract to them.
Oh yes, because Anna had left and she came back during that scene where everything was being thrown out the window, and
back me in the
and
car.
she'd already left by then, and she just came back for those two.
That's
Come and tell you off as well.
But I still had something like 3 months to run on my contract.
Yeah.
And they just put their foot down and said, no, that's it. You can't do anything.
Really?
So again, I just sat for about 3 months with nothing to do. Because and they could, you know, that was the contract, and had they decided I was going to go back for any reason, you know, they could have pulled me back in on the contract. So that was a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
But not impossible, you know.
No.
We dealt with it, we got on with it, and yeah.
I was sorry to see the Jacksons go.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was sort of seemed the end of an era, but
it was.
These things have to move, don't they? You know.
Yes. And the Corkills came on, of course.
You've got a fresh chance at a different storyline. You know.
I always think it would have been wonderful if all the Jacksons had been there and the Corkills. That would have been magical. I could just imagine Doreen and they would have just clashed like mad, wouldn't they? Doreen and Marie Jackson, yeah. So very briefly, because I know we're a few minutes over schedule, have you any plans for the future? Tracey, I know you did Panto last week. Did that go well?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Yes, I teach now. That's what I do.
Teach drama.
Teach drama. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I love it. I love it.
Yes, because somebody wrote a nice comment about you, saying you're one of the best and most generous directors they've ever worked with. No, they were being serious. They're paying you with genuine compliments.
It didn't cost me a lot. It was very
just a tenner. And what about you, Alex? Oh, go on. Did you say something there?
I was just going to say, it's just nice to see sort of the next generation moving forward. You know, the school's good. The kids go on and do other things, and it's, you know, it's so difficult, isn't it, this job, this business, where you 1 minute you're earning a really good wage, and then you can be out of work for 6 months and you're scouting around looking for bar work and things. And I had a son, and it was just impossible. I had to have something that was a regular income.
Yeah, of course, you've got to pay the bills, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's great news that you're still teaching, you're still doing your thing and your passion.
Yeah.
Alexandra, what about you?
Well, I've had a couple of career changes. I mean, I write, I've written scripts, and I've got a script out there at the moment.
Oh, wonderful.
So I do that, and I've done that for quite a while. But I also, years ago now, did a degree in psychology and moved into child and adolescent mental health. Yeah. And that's my day job. I do clinical child and adolescent counselling, which at the moment is... Well, I mean, it's always quite busy, but currently since it started, so we've worked all the way through that, it's been pretty full on. So working with young people like you, Tracey, actually, but supporting their mental health. So that's and I enjoy having the writing side of things, and also, you know, being part of the counselling world. So
it's a nice balance, isn't it?
Yeah. It's something I was interested in even when I was at school, and then I had 3 kids, and then was like, you know, actually,
I'm going to get a proper job
now. I'm going to go do that degree. So yeah, so I took myself.
Do you ever have people coming in though and recognise you from like Brookside or Letter to Brezhnev?
No, because they're much younger. It's a whole different setting. It's a clinical setting. It's a whole different thing, and they're much younger. And it just doesn't. It's just not a part of me when.
Yeah, not something that's going to come into it. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's felt like we've been on for 5 minutes. I was just warming up then, but you know, I could talk all night about Brookside. But listen, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. And we will meet again, obviously, for this Brookside 40th reunion next year.
100%. I look forward to that. It'd be great.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get as many on as possible. I mean, I was going to have, it started off last time with about 20, then it went down to 10. Then it was about 6 of you in the end, and then it just didn't happen. So we think the 40th anniversary next year will definitely happen. Everybody will want to do it then, I hope.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So honestly, it's really been a pleasure, ladies, talking to you. Oh, and please do upload those photos, Alexandra. I'd love to have them.
Yeah, I'm going to dig them out, but I do have quite a few. So yeah, the early days on Brookside, I will definitely dig them out. It's been lovely to see you again, Tracey.
And you.
It's been a proper reunion, hasn't it? And hopefully we'll get Robert on next time. He'll have to do a solo show.
You'll watch that one.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you everybody who's tuned in, and thank you to Tracey Batchelor and Alexandra Pigg. Yay! We all should have an audience or something there.
Yeah, we'll just do our own.
So it's been lovely. What I'll do is when I'll upload the video to YouTube either later on tomorrow, but I will send you the link through that as well.
Lovely, thank you.
So I'll send you for that. So I shall bid you good night and thank you very much again, and I shall see you very soon.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Happy Christmas.
Oh, you know what? It hasn't even felt like, so I say Merry Christmas and have a lovely New Year.
Yeah.
And to you, Tracey.
Bye.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and thank you again.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
When I can get it off. I can't even turn it off. Yeah. Yeah, we're off. See you later.
Bye.